talking about estimation. And what is this? The agenda for today will be, what is estimation? Why do we need to estimate? When and what are we even estimating? How do we estimate? And then we are going to do it together. It's going to be very interactive, and I will appreciate everyone to participate. So what is Agile Estimation? Agile Estimation is a process whereby you estimate the effort required to complete a user story or a task in product backlog. So in Agile project, estimation is needed as the development work is being done. You need to estimate. The size of the effort that is being estimated is usually from the user stories. And we can just develop estimation for our backlog items, sprint backlog items. You can estimate a whole product backlog. That, okay, how long is the product backlog item is going to take? Or we can even look at it from the overall project point of view. That, okay, this is the work we're going to do. They're giving you a project. And you look at it, that how long is it going to take me to complete this project? So there are different ways of looking at estimation. So whatever technique you're using, whether you're actually looking at it using project plan, because that's what used to happen with Agile, traditional project management, or you're using user story, mapping out your user story to user story map, or anyhow you are doing it, just using sticky notes, you are doing estimation, and we do estimation every day in our life. So the basic project estimation process, you collect the initial requirements, the sponsor will give you a requirement, and you have your team with you, and you come back together and you look at it that, okay, how long do you think this project is going to take us to complete? Then you estimate. And when you've done your estimation, sometimes you prepare your project schedule and in form of a project plan or work breakdown structure. So you look at how long is it going to take in terms of duration and the cost. That's what used to happen in Agile and traditional project management, because you have to look at the cost as well. And you look at the product itself. I mean, the scope of the product. What is the scope? What's going to be involved? How many developers do we need to be able to work on this project? How many PA do we need? What are the features we are going to be developing? What's the minimum viable product? How long is it going to take us to actually develop that minimum viable product? You combine everything together to be able to come up with your estimation, probably your project plan in those days. So with the traditional approach to project management, we're going to look at some techniques. It's still being used by Agile as well, but not as much. So we look at analogous apportionment estimation. It's an estimation that is based on experience and understanding of similar past projects. Some may call it expert project judgment. For instance, you built something similar before, and I ask you that, okay, John, based on your experience, it took you 5 days to be able to finish that, a similar project. How long do you think it will take you to finish this? And you look at it that, okay, I have the experience, I've done something similar before. It may take me 10 working days, it may take me 3 hours, it may take me 2 hours. So you use this one at the beginning of the project when there is limited data available. You don't have the data to be able to work with about a project, and you can use it to estimate a project cost. You can use it to estimate the time it's going to take you, and you can use it for individual project or the total duration of a project and how long it's going to take you. What's the disadvantage? The disadvantage of this is that it may not be accurate. because projects are different from each other. Activities are different, constraints, what we're going to be having there, the scope, the dependency may be different. So you might not be accurate when you are using expert judgment or analogous or apportionment estimation. So that is the disadvantage of that. And we're going to move on to parametric estimating. Parametric estimating technique uses mathematical and statistical historical data to estimate project cost, timeline, and resources needed to complete a project. For instance, if I tell you now that for you to be, you've done a project before, and it took you 4 hours to complete maybe you are creating a login page. So it took you 4 hours to complete a login page. So now I want you to create contact us page. I want you to create a registration page. I want you to create something similar, or how long will it take you? Or even let's just say, for instance, you have created a screen, and then I want you to create about 2 other screens. And you told me that, okay, it took you 4 hours to create that first screen. Probably you can now say, okay, it took me 4 hours to create the first screen. If I'm going to create 3 screens, it might take me 3 times 4 times 12, 12. So it's going to take me 12 hours. You are using it based on your experience because you've done something similar. So that is the parametric estimating, because you are using statistics of your past, of the past historical data you've done, how much it cost you, the timeline. So you can actually look at it. Okay, I paid £40 for this. So if I'm going to do something, let's say 3 of it, it's going to take me £120. So that's just it. And it took me 4 hours. It's going to take me 12 hours to be able to complete. So you are estimating it based on the historical or statistical data that you've got. Then we're going to be talking about top-down estimation. Top-down estimation approach estimate the overall timeline for the project, and then you break it down into smaller phases. You break it down into tasks, subtasks, based on work breakdown structure. Let me show you something. We stop sharing. I don't want to go to. Can you see my screen? Can everyone confirm? Because
yes,
see my Excel sheet. Okay.
Yes, we can.
So look at when you're looking at this project plan, this is like a kind of top down, because we go the all projects. We estimated that it's going to take us 167.5 days, 382 hours to be able to complete 250. So this is the plan hours. We're looking at it, then we are not breaking down the task. You understand? We're not breaking down the task, and we're estimating that, okay, it will take us 1 day to complete this one, 2 days to complete the other one, and 1 day to complete this one. We've broken it down based on the task, and we look at the overall project first. Then we also broken it down based on the task we have to actually complete. And when you're looking at this, it does not include some subtasks that is going to be included. There are some subtasks that developer might need to create or business analyst might need to do, is not actually included. So the advantage of it is useful when you needed to develop accurate project duration and cost, and it's not available at initial phase. But the disadvantage of it is that it might not be completely accurate. You understand? Because it might not be well defined, because there are some soft tasks that is actually not taken into consideration when you were doing that plan. You understand? So now we look at bottom-up estimate. We assess project work from the bottom to deliverables and phases. It estimates how long the entire project work will take by breaking work into tasks and breaking it further into subtasks. So you can see that the project plan I show you just breaks it down into tasks. We had the high level of how long it's going to take. Then we had the subtask, but we did not break it down into subtasks. So because we don't know what those subtasks are going to be like, we might not be accurate in our estimation. We might not be able to accurately estimate how long the total project is going to take us. So that's why the bottom-up estimation is actually better, because you will be able to clearly define the duration, how long it's going to cost. You'll be able to actually break it down properly. So my apology, this is actually, this one is PETS. Is this one that we have as parametric estimating is actually program evaluating and review technique PETS. So with PETS, it has a formula 0 plus 4m plus p divided by 6. So where 0 is optimistic, that is, you're looking at the earliest time it's going to take me to be able to finish this work. You're looking at, there is no constraint. All the resources are available. We've assembled all the team. The business analyst is available. The project manager, we got the developers. Everybody is complete. We got the product owner. We don't have any constraint. The project is easy. There is like, okay, because I know it's very well, it's going to take me just 10 days to complete this project. So you are very optimistic that you'll finish it within 10 days. And based on also the fact that maybe you completed it in the past and some other things that need to be part of the project has already been completed. So all the predecessor activities that should have been done have been done. You've even created the user stories. So you just need to put into development and just break it down, and you estimate it, and developers start working on it. So you know that it's not going to take you long. We also look at the second one, M, which means most likely. The most likely, you have taken into consideration likely problem and the outcome, and you are multiplying by 4. So that, okay, what's the worst? What can happen? Okay, maybe we might not have the project manager might leave in between the projects. We might not have enough BA. You have taken every problem that could come up into consideration. Developer might fall sick and might not be available to work on the project. You're taking that into consideration, and you factor it into your time and the effort and everything that is going to take you to complete that project. So that is the most likely. Then you now factor in and you say, okay, this is the most likely. Then the pessimistic, you look at, everything. What's the latest time it can take us? We said, okay, the optimistic time is 10 days. Probably we say, okay, 2 months. It will take us 2 months to be able to complete the projects. Maximum an activity can be completed, assuming all constraints are be taken into consideration. You're taking everything that could go wrong, everything that might go wrong, you're taking it into consideration. So when doing this, you need to consider system, specify each activities. You need to break down all the activities. What are the activities that are going to be done? And you establish dependencies. Is there any dependency between them? Look at, okay, maybe we need to complete, for instance, let me go back to my project plan. So when they are talking about dependency, so for us to obtain project mandate, kick off in order for us to be able to kick off the meeting, we have to have obtained our project mandate first. Because if we don't have a project mandate, what meeting are we kicking off? What are we going to be talking about? What are we going to talk about? Then when we've done that, when we can start looking at what documentation we're going to be doing. So this is our dependency. They are not start to start. You can't start it at the same time because one has to be completed before you can start the other one. So there is a dependency between them. You understand? So that is it. Then look at the requirement elicitation in line 9 and then create review survey. You can actually do that one, create and review survey. You can actually do it together. It could be start to start because you can do your requirement elicitation while you're doing that because you already obtained your mandate. So you can start doing the survey. Because you already know the scope of the project. You can start asking questions and looking at, okay, what are the things that we can do to be able to you elicit requirement from different stakeholder, you gather your data, you elicit requirement from your, project sponsor, from the users, from everyone. Then you can be doing everything together at the same time and you will create your survey at the same time. Because the people that are going to respond to your survey are not your project sponsor. So you can actually create your survey at the same time you are doing your elicitation with your product sponsor. So that is the start to start, and there's no dependency there. But whereby you have to obtain your project mandate first, you can't start your kickoff meeting without obtaining your project mandate. Slideshow. Let me go back to slideshow. Okay, so then you estimate the activity for completion time. You now identify the critical parts. And then when you've identified what will be your critical parts, then you update your critical parts. Because we have a lot to do, so I will just move on. So those are the traditional way of estimating projects, and I've shown you the project plan. What I show you in the result document is a project plan, and that was what we used to do before. If you are using a traditional waterfall approach, waterfall is a project approach whereby each project is developed sequentially. You need to actually create your elicit your requirement, collect your project mandate, create the user story. Then when you finish project specification, high-level requirement, low-level requirement, you create everything first. Everything is complete before you can even start saying that you want to start doing the wireframe. Unlike Agile, whereby as you are eliciting the requirement, you are actually immediately you start working on the likely user story that you're going to be creating. At the same time, you are creating your user wireframe. So, but that is not actually like that in the traditional project management. So then we move on to user stories. You need user stories to be able to estimate in your Agile projects estimation. User story is a short description of a feature based on user perspective. So you are like a user. I want activities. You want to achieve a goal. You want something because you want to benefit. So as a user, I want activity so that results. What is going to be the result? As a housewife, I want to go to the market, buy. I want to cook egusi. I want to buy all the materials so that I can cook and my children can eat, have something to eat at home. What is involved is a lot of things. So you need to break it down. So in user stories, we usually say it contains 3 C, and that is card, conversation, and confirmation. User stories are written on cards with enough information to generate a conversation. It's just for us to start a conversation. Because I've told you now that I want to go to the market as an housewife to buy a good material for egusi to be able to cook. So you might start, we can start asking questions that, what kind of egusi do I want to cook? Do I want to use fish? Is it crayfish? Is it dry fish? Is it meat? Do I want meat? Or how do I even want to cook the fish? We are generating conversation. We are having that conversation because we want to be able to know, to have a shared understanding of how I want to actually cook the egusi. What are the things I need to put in the egusi? And then we have a shared understanding of the kind of egusi that I'm going to cook and how I'm going to go about doing it. So when you have that, we've written that it's down in a card. When we generate a conversation, we talk about it. Everybody has that shared understanding. Then we can confirm and say, okay, yeah, because everybody has that shared understanding. This is exactly what we're going to be doing. The PO, the acceptance criteria cannot be written by the PO, and the tester will be able to say, yes, based on this acceptance criteria, we can actually test the features because it actually meets invest criteria. We're going to talk about invest criteria soon. So what are the invest criteria? Because if a user story does not meet invest criteria, it's not the best. And invest criteria means that the story can be developed independent of other stories. So which means that if I'm saying that I want to cook egusi, I want to cook egusi is independent of I want to eat it with amala. Because if I'm saying that egusi, I can eat egusi with amala, eba, whatever, different things. So it's quite independent. Its story has to be independent of other stories, should not depend. I can eat my egusi alone. I can decide that I like the soup, so I can make egusi soup and just eat egusi soup. It might be a soup for me. So it should be independent enough, and it should not depend on another story. Like that, the one I show you at the beginning, getting a project mandate depends, having a kickoff meeting depends on getting a project mandate. So it's not independent. We have to, one depends on the another. There is one has to take place before the another one can take place. So that is why user story, when you're writing your user story, make sure that it's not dependent on another user story. Then we can negotiate the features. User story, we facilitate a conversation whereby we look at the features and we can say, okay, maybe we should develop it this way. Maybe it should be another way. Somebody else might make a suggestion. We can tell the product owner that, why don't we do it this way? It's easy for us to negotiate the features and it actually facilitate that conversation between the team. And it's valuable. It brings value to the business and also to the customer. Anything that will not generate value when you are creating your user story is not, or when you are even developing your products in Agile, then you should just discard it. If it's not going to bring value to the business and to the customer, there's no point in doing it. So you need to ask yourself that, what value is this going to bring to the business? Estimable. The story can be estimated by developer. They can say that, okay, it's going to take me 5 story points, 3 story points, 1 story point to be able to complete this feature. So they can actually talk about it. And small, the story is not large. We can actually finish it within a sprint. It's not as if we're going to now, after we finish it, we now, because it's so large, we cannot finish it this sprint. We need to move it to the next sprint. If it needs to be moved to the next sprint, please break it down. It's too big. Then testable. The testing is possible from acceptance criteria and definition of done. So definition of done, because I had somebody ask that question during one of the training. The definition of done means that the team have to come together to be able to write their definition of done. What do we need when we say we are starting a sprint to be able to complete this sprint, what are the things that need to be completed? You can say, okay, user story has to be written. So the BA needs to be sure that they've written the user stories. The PO or give us the story, the BA write the user story, whoever is writing the user story is writing it. Then the is estimated. And with, okay, everybody understand the story, we have a shared understanding, then it's going to be developed. And then the tester will work on it. Maybe we will conduct integration testing, acceptance testing, whatever testing, and then we can add it to increment. It's going to meet the definition of ready, done. It's working. If it's not working, that means that it's not, it can't be deployed to live environment. It's valuable to the business. It can start generating money for the business immediately. So that is your user stories and definition of done. Everybody has to agree on what will be our definition of done. So it's that team agreement has to be there. So we're looking at user story. Every user story has to fulfill requirements with a very specific goal or benefit. It's always advisable to break your story, as I said, into smaller pieces. It has more than one goal. If it has more than one goal, if it's going to be more than one goal, then there is no point. Break it down further. A requirement of a story has to be a complete functionality, means upon completion of development, testing and acceptance, the code should be deployable or packed for future release. In other words, each user story should be potentially shippable. So that is like valuable. It should be able to meet your definition of done. It should be able to, the business should be able to generate value from it. If we say, okay, we have the minimum viable total, and we say, okay, we develop the login, the user should be able to go in onto our website and be able to log in. If that is the feature we develop, then it should work. The size of a user story is measured in story point and to provide a business need based on complexity and risk. So this is an example of a user story. Notification item. As a registered member on the website, I want to receive notification when I've not been selected as a bid winner, so I can bid for another item. A winner should be able to receive, and there are certain criteria, is a winner should be able to receive personal notification when they lost a bid, and so on and so forth. So now we are going to write a user story. So you're going to tell me what I need to put here. We are going to write a user story for check Facebook account. So what are the things, if I need a volunteer, please. Who want to volunteer to tell me what I need to do if I want to check my Facebook account?
You need to log in with your password.
One person, I need one person to drive. So what do I need to do?
You need to be able to firstly navigate to Facebook page.
So what do I need to do for the first thing?
So you need to type in Facebook on the browser.
Okay, browse Facebook, type Facebook on the browser.
And okay, somebody else wants to say, or should I carry on?
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so when you browse Facebook, you need to make sure that you navigate to the landing page or navigate to the landing page.
Let's assume that I've done all that.
Okay, so log in.
Okay, log in.
Yeah.
For me to log in, what do I need to do?
So you need to enter your username and enter your password.
Okay. Okay. What else can I do?
You have to click the submit button for me to make sure that it's successful, that you can log in successfully.
Okay, so that is how you write your user story. But there is one thing we miss here. My login would be we have a dependency. It's dependent on the fact that I have an account. I've created an account for me to be able to log in. So maybe I need to register with Facebook first. and then before I can log in. So that means that there is a dependency. If I don't have an account, I might not be able to log in onto Facebook account. So that's how you start thinking about what are the things that we need to put on this user story. That's how you actually generate that value. You start having that conversation among yourself that, okay, we've not opened the account first. We need to open an account before we can log in. Then we enter our username and password. Then when we click submit, then we can go in, okay, upload our my picture, send a request to my friend. You start thinking about what else can I do on this or to generate value. How can I actually build this story up? How can I build this product? You understand? So that is the user story. And by the time you finish, you created a product that generates value to customer. So let's continue. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. So when you're creating your when you're doing your estimation, you need to consider your risk. What are the risks inherent in this user story? What is the complexity of the user story? Is it complex? Maybe if it's complex, does it need to be broken down further? Or is it okay? Is the complex, maybe you need API, the developer needs to integrate the API or something like that. How much effort is it going to take for us to be able to implement, to successfully implement, for developer to build it and for the tester to test it? What are the dependencies? Does it have a dependency? Like that now, the one create Facebook account, log into my Facebook account, I actually need to register with Facebook first before I can log in. So there is a dependency there. So we need to look at it. Okay, probably we need to do this one. This is because of this, it's going to take this effort. Then we need to look at, okay, what are the things that we need to do during implementation? And are there anything that we don't even know that we need to do, that we need to actually think about that? Maybe that one could be like a technical debt that we don't know about, that we might need to put in our product backlog. We not enable us to actually work on that story immediately. Maybe we need to have a plugin to be able to implement that story successfully. So we're going to move on to estimation per se. So this is the product owner. He's asking you a question. How long will it take to complete this project? When will this work be finished? And these are the developers. One is thinking, oh my God, we still have a lot to do. Another one says, oh, we need additional resources, else it will take us 2 months to be able to finish it. Another one says, should I just tell him that it's going to take us a week to keep him happy? And one said, I don't even know what to do. I've only been here for 3 weeks. I haven't got a clue. And one is saying, this is going to take weeks, and I don't want to tell him that. Maybe we should just tell him it will take us a week. Another one said, I know I could get this done in 2 days, but I have other stuff to do. So this is the way the business people think on the product. Everybody had different things they are thinking, but the product owner, they are sometimes impatient because they want it done ASAP. They want it done right now. They want it now, like tomorrow. So there are different things that is competing in there when we are developing products and when we are in a team. So we need to make sure that we actually estimate. That's why we need to have an accurate estimation in order for the project to be carried out successfully and not make our product owner to get angry. So for instance, if we want to say, how long does it take to get to London from Birmingham? So we need to look at how far is it from London to Birmingham? Okay, somebody said 100 miles. Okay, if it's 100 miles, if I ride my bike, please, can you mute yourself? Thank you. If I'm riding a bike, it will take me 11 hours to be able to get to London. Another one can say, okay, I'll drive. So it take me maybe 3.5 hours to get to London. Another one will say, if I take a train, it shouldn't take more than 1.5 hours, 1.5 hours to get to London, because it's just London from Birmingham. Another one say, I could get this done. I could do it for 2 days. I could trek. So if I trek, this is trek actually. If I trek, it should take me like maybe 3 days to get to London. And another is saying, okay, maybe I could fly to London from Birmingham. If I have to have a connecting flight, it might take me 3 hours. But if it's a direct flight, take me just 45 minutes. That would be faster, and I could claim it on expenses. So you look at different aspects of how you can actually complete a task, how you can get things done. And everybody is talking about from their own perspective, because they are looking at it from, okay, the person who has a bike is looking at if they have to ride a bike. The person that is driving, looking at it from if I have to drive. The person that is going to take a train, looking at it from if I have to take a train, it's going to take me 1.5 hours. So maybe somebody that is more experienced developer, it might say, okay, it will take me 1 hour to do something. A less experienced developer will say, oh, it's going to take me 3 hours because I have not done this before. So there are different things that we look at when we are estimating. So for the product owner, if you could just tell me how long this one would take, that would be great. Well, is it always that easy? No, it's not always that easy. So that's why we look at what are the things that how they really estimate in Agile. So they look at relative and absolute estimation. If I ask somebody now, please, can you tell me how long it will take you? Let me see what I want to ask. How long is it going to take for you to boil 2 cups of rice? Like how long will it take to boil 2 cups of rice? Someone, please, I need an answer. Help me.
25 minutes.
30 minutes.
Great. You are giving me an absolute estimate. Do you understand? You're giving me an absolute estimate because you have told me that it's going to take 25 minutes or 20 minutes to be able to actually estimate. So you are giving me an ideal hours. You understand? So the absolute estimate is giving me which user story I measure based on time estimation, based on ideal hour, on how long it's going to take. So you look at it that, okay, it shouldn't take more than 25 minutes to be able to boil a rice. So you're giving me that absolute. But in relative estimation, you need to take into consideration complexity, uncertainty, and effort. So you look at, okay, maybe rice. I don't know whether it's long grain rice, basmati rice, or those small father rice. Okay, you're going to have to wash it. So if I wash it first, or father rice is usually more dirty. If I'm going to boil it, it's going to, so if you wash it several times, maybe I need to parboil it first. You understand? So if I parboil it, then maybe then for it to get boiled again. So I thought maybe it's going to take 40 minutes or 50 minutes. You understand? So another person might start thinking along that line. So you might look at it that, okay, when you have a story, so you might look at it, is it small? Is it medium? Is it large? Is it extra large? So for instance, before I move on to this one to give you a very clear idea, I will still go back to that, but let me show you this one first. So I want to launch a business analysis project. So do you know, can you tell me how long it's going to take me to launch a business analysis project? Someone please help me. Help me. I need an answer, please. This is supposed to be interactive. Admit yourself. 2 hours. Okay, great. Thank you. So if I now tell you that this is what I need to do, and I give you the breakdown of it, how long do you think it's going to take now?
4 hours.
5 hours.
You see, someone is
4
telling me
hours.
5 hours, another one say 2 hours, another one 4 hours. So because I'm giving you, it's still the same thing, but because I didn't give you all the details of what needs to be done. You're giving me 2 hours because you believe that launching a business analysis project, you're giving me a relative estimation. It's still the same thing I'm doing. You understand? But you just look at it that, launching a business analysis project, it shouldn't take more than 2 hours. But when I now gave you a more comprehensive list, you're looking at it that, oh, okay, or the kickoff meeting, or the meeting with the first team, define team roles, create a contact list for team member, doing this one, do that one. Oh, it might take longer. So that is relative. You're looking at it in relative to, okay, other things that need to be done, all the things that need to be considered within that project. You understand? So let's go back. So when you're doing your estimation, you can either use T-shirt sizing. This is what they call T-shirt sizing. You call it, this thing is covering it, so let me move it up. Oh, sorry. So T-shirt sizing is large, small, medium, large, and extra large. So when you go to the shop, you buy a T-shirt, maybe for me, I think I usually take medium. Some might be like, okay, medium, large, that's their size. Some will be like large, some is extra large. Or you can use Fibonacci series. Fibonacci series is the sequence of number whereby each number is the sum of the previous number. So user story is usually estimated in story points anyway, most of the time. And it's not usually advisable for you to estimate it in hours. Use a relative because you want to use a relative estimation. So you say that, okay, maybe one is going to take one story point, then another one is 2, then 3, 5, 8, 13, 21. Who notice what is happening there? Who notice what is happening?
The numbers are
this
added
is what
up.
is happening. Yeah. 1 plus 1. Then you now had 1 plus 2, 2 plus 3, 3 plus 5, 5 plus 8, 8 plus 13, 13 plus 21. That is the way you do your users Fibonacci series sequence. So look at this one now, as I show you again, the relative estimation for you to skate a board. This is a small skating. You know, you're going to look at it that, okay, how long is it going to take to do that? Then if we move on to tricycle, to create a tricycle, how long is it going to take us to create a tricycle? Or even a cycle, a bicycle, or a scooter. So you look at it based on the complexity. The more complex, the more the features are, then you can say, okay, it's going to take this. So you look at it from the lowest one to the highest one. So when we are doing products, when we're doing estimation, so the Scrum Master or the PO can be the one to facilitate the meeting. And we make sure that the meeting is time boxed. During our sprint planning, it's usually advisable to do it. And you identify what are the risks and dependency that is inherent in our sprint backlog. And then we look at whether wireframe has been written, we've attached the process flow that needs to go in there. The goal of the project is clear, and we have the acceptance criteria is being written, and everybody has a shared understanding. And maybe we need to consult our external stakeholder. They've been consulted, and everybody input has been taken into consideration. So we define our definition already. I'm done. The story made the definition already. If it doesn't, break it down further, and then we can negotiate the feature or modify it anyhow we want to do it. So the developer can now say, okay, let's start estimating the story. So we looking at estimating the story. So the developer can now say, okay, this is the product now, the user story now. As an hungry person, I would like to eat a grape so that I am full. This time around, I need everyone's participation. I want you to give me, shout out what you think it's going to take. So a certain criteria is that stem is not consumed. You are not going to consume the stem. Seed are not eating. Half grape is eating. And the assumption is grape does not need to be washed. Based on what I've just told you, and you look at the estimation of Fibonacci series from 1 to and so on, can you give me the, how do you estimate this one? Give me a number, please.
3.
3.
Yes.
Okay. Another person? I need another person to give me a number.
5.
5. Okay. Another person?
9. 6.
Okay. No, you don't use 6. It's 1, 2, 3. So you keep adding, but we don't use even number apart from 2. So the person that said 5, why did you 3? Why did you say 3?
Because you don't require much effort. It says stem is not consumed. That's simple to do. Seeds are not eaten. That's quite easy. So half grape is eaten. You don't require a lot of effort to get the definition of them, which is acceptance criteria.
Great. Thank you for that. How about the person that chose 5? Why do you choose 5? I need an answer, please, so that we can move on. Somebody chose 5. There's no right or wrong answer, please. There's no right or wrong answer. You just need to tell me your reason, because you had a reason before you chose 5. Who was that?
So I was looking at 3 steps. So 1 at 1 is 2, 2 at 3 is 5.
Okay, why are you choosing 5?
I just looked at the 3 steps. That's all I thought.
Okay, the 3 steps.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. So you can see that somebody chose 3, another person chose 5. We just need to start asking questions. We generate a conversation. Why did you? Because I might perceive that it's not complex, and somebody else's perception might be different from mine, because they are looking at it from, okay, maybe they need to. She's looking at 3 steps. I might not even have seen that one. That okay, you need 3 steps. I didn't even see it. So she's looking at it from a different angle. So we all need to take each other's opinion to consideration, and then we need to come to a consensus. So if I can ask both of you now, we come to a consensus? What do you think we should choose between 5 and 3?
I think
Sorry, you are breaking up. Okay, and we move on to another one.
I think 5 is fine, because you always leave room for error.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Now I want everyone to send in a message on message. So this is another one on team. Send your answer on team. Allow me, please. Let me coordinate so that I'll be able to see because I'm not able to see when they are sending it now. So as an hungry person, this is another one. I would like to eat a grape so that I'm full. A certain criteria is stem is not consumed. All grape is eaten, and the assumption is grapes needs to be washed. So I want everybody to participate now. Give me an answer. So how will you estimate this one from? Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 3? Is it 5? Is it 8? Is it 13? Give me an estimation, please. Please type in the chat. Type in the chat. I can't see anything in the chat. Hello? Hello? Can everyone hear me?
Okay, I would.
We
Yes,
can
we
hear you.
can.
We are typing
Yes,
it.
we can.
People are
Oh,
typing
okay.
it. Yeah.
Thank you. So now we got 3.
Majority are between 3 and 5.
Majority are between 3 and 5.
Yeah.
So for people that chose 3, can one of you tell me why you chose 3? Can you tell me why you chose 3?
There's 3 steps. There's just 3 steps.
Okay. And 5, why did you choose 5?
Because the grape needs to be washed.
No, that's part of the 3 steps though.
Okay, I think you are looking at the steps, but I want you to look at the complexity. Okay. What is actually involved? How complex is it? So you are looking at the step. Don't look at the step. Okay. I want you to look at the complexity. So now this stem is not consumed. I'm not going to need and don't need to eat the stem. And the whole grape has to be eaten. I need to wash it. So don't look at the steps. Look at what needs to happen, the complexity of the task at hand. That's what I want you to look at. That's why this is quite important for you to look at. So when you are looking at your user story, you are looking at the dependency. What needs to happen before something else can happen? You understand? Don't just give a number. You need to look at the complexity. How complex is it to actually eat this grape, to be able to wash it, and for me to now start eating it? If I'm eating half of it and I'm not eating the seed, maybe that is easier because I can always remove the seed. I'm not going to eat it. But if I have to consume the whole seed, the whole grape, maybe that is more complex because I will need to eat the seed as well. So we need to look at it from that perspective, not look at, okay, it's just like what I showed you earlier. I showed you creating a business analyst project. It's the same thing, but because I've broken it down, you are now looking at it that, okay, it might take more hours, but it might not actually take more hours because when I break it down, it might just take that 2 hours. It just depends on who is working on it, how complex it is. You understand? So look at it from that. You look at the complexity of it, how easy it is, what do I need to do? So look at it from that point. Let me go back to the complexity.
Yeah, Mohola, if I may come in, regarding the complexity of the grape, I'm looking at it that if the grape is actually a seedless one, so you can, if it's a seedless one, so you just need to put the whole grape in your mouth and then you chew after washing. So that was the reason why I chose. That was the reason why I chose 3. So, like you said, these are the things that I've considered. I looked at it, okay, and because I've seen seedless grape before, so I know, okay, it is possible to eat a whole grape without minding the fact that you are going to be swallowing or chewing the seed.
That's perfect. Thank you for that, because you are looking at the risk and the complexity and effort that will require And you're also looking at, okay, what's dependent on, what's the dependency here? Is there anything that is dependent? There is a dependency here. So that's what I want you to have this at the back of your mind. What's the complexity? How complex is it? What's the risk involved? If I hit the whole seed, what will happen? What effort do I need to be able to, how much effort is it going to require? And what is the dependency in order for me to be able to carry it out? Is there anything that is dependent? And what are the unknown things that I don't even know what I need to do? So I'll go back now so that we continue to do our estimation. Because I want you to get this so that when you start your project, you'll be able to look at when your developers are giving you the estimated, you will look at it and say, okay, how can I actually make them understand? Maybe there is no shared understanding of what needs to be done. So as a non-hungry person, I would like to hit a grape so that I'm full. The certain criteria is stem is not consumed, all grape is eaten. An assumption, one grape does not need to be washed, one grape needs to be washed. So what is the complexity involved in this? Look at it. What is there any dependency?
So the
What's the
dependency
effort?
in this one is that you have to wash one grape, yeah, and then the stem does not need to be consumed. You have to eat the whole grape, and then you need to wash one grape.
Okay. Can you estimate it first? Then we can now talk. Thank you.
So if I'm to estimate this, I'll give it a 5.
Great. Another person, please.
I'll give it a 3, because if I'm looking at it, I have to look at it from the point of view, which of the grape do I have to wash? Which one don't I need to wash? So I need to look, maybe there are some certain marks or things that I have to look out for that will say, okay, this one has to be washed before it can be consumed. So that will give that one a little bit of thought, and then take out the stem. And then also the 2 old grapes have to be eaten. I have to consider what kind of grapes they are. Are they seedless or are they with seed? So these are the things I will put there. And for the fact that I've forgotten the name that you mentioned in that estimation technique, I think is the analogous.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The analogous style of technique, whereby you base your estimating on experience. So maybe I'm talking from experience now because I'm used to grapes. So I will now be able to do my judgment. That's why I gave it 3.
Awesome. Thank you for that as well. Another person? Give me an estimate and your reason, please. How many people are here?
Okay, sorry. Can I quickly talk about the risk factor?
Sorry?
The risk factor.
Yeah. Give me your estimate, please, and tell me the reason.
5. 5.
5.
And the reason I'm giving 5 is to start with, although it says grape, there are different types of grape. I would want to ask, is it the red grape? Is it the black grape? Is it, and also, would I react to it when I have it? That's number 1. And then also, one grape needs to be washed and one grape does not need to be washed, which is questionable because, why would one not need to be washed? And what effects will it have in my stomach when I eat grape that is not washed? So I'll take that into consideration as well. So there's a lot, a whole lot of analysis here. So I would say 5.
Absolutely perfect. I think
Hello,
I like.
Can everyone hear me?
Please, we can. Yes, we can hear you. Hello. You're breaking up. Hello. Awesome. So you can see that she actually looking at it from a different perspective. That's why it's always good to generate that conversation. That's why user story is always very interesting. Having that discussion when we are doing estimation is very, very interesting, because she's able to look at it from a different perspective, that if she eats it, she might become sick. And he's looking at it from a different perspective as well. And she even told me something different. So we need to take everybody's opinion into consideration. And even the product owner might be able to see that, okay, maybe, okay, because the developer said this one. Hello?
Just a quick question, please.
Okay.
These numbers that people are calling out, what's the unit for these numbers? What do they mean? Is it degree of difficulty? Is it days? Is it weeks? Because we're just assigning numbers based on what steps, number of days is going to take, level of difficulty. What are these numbers exactly?
So in user stories and in estimation, we use story points. You understand? We don't say it's going to take 3 hours. We don't want to assign hours to it. We use story point. We do use something relative that, okay, based on the complexity of the story, looking at the risk factor, looking at the effort, looking at all things considered. So we don't want to really say, okay, 2 hours, because we might not be wrong.
Okay, so the higher the number, the higher the difficulty then?
Not really. We're looking at it from, okay, it's one story point, because we're looking at, okay, it's not complex. You are looking at complexity. So if it's not complex, if a story is easy, you can say, okay, 1. So you are right in a way. The higher the number, the higher the complexity. So when it's like 5, 8, 13, it means that it's a bit complex. And when it's going to 13, I will always advise that we break it down, because it becomes big and it's not small again. Maybe there is dependency involved when you are going to 13, because that means that probably, like she said, she might need to look at whether she is going to make her sick, and what if she react to it. Or it might need to look at, okay, it's so easy. I've done it before, like somebody said that it's based on my experience. It will be easy, so I'll give it 3. You understand? So you are looking at it from different points of view. And when your developers are doing their estimation, you need to ask them also to look at it from different points of view. And based on the effort is going to take, is there any dependency? Is there risk involved? Is there complexity? Before they can even say, okay, is there something that they've not even factored in, like saying that for us to create this, we need a plugin to develop it. Do you understand? That's what we are looking at. Do you understand?
Yeah, that's fine.
You can even use maybe medium, large, because some people use T-shirt sizing. You can tell me that it's small, it's medium, it's large, it's extra large. So it depends. Some team use that, but because of the to be able to, for metric purpose, a lot of teams usually use Fibonacci series, because when it will help you with your analytics as a Scrum Master. When you are looking at your analytics, the numbers are easy for the most of the application to be able to tell you that it took you 20 story points to complete this project, 10 story points to complete this project. Because when you are starting your project, your velocity is how well you are turning out, you completing your work. You understand? You are completing your story. Might not be that much. Maybe you might have 20, you might finish 20 story point or 10 story point at the first sprint. And the next sprint, because you are more, you gel, you understand the product more, and the developer has got the environment set up and everything is set up. You might be able to say, okay, you completed 3 this time around, or you completed 4. So your velocity might be increasing as the team progresses. And then you look at the whole, maybe 4 or 5 sprints, your velocity has increased. Because at the moment, you guys are just starting now. You would find out that what you're going to be committing to sprints might not be much, and what will be completed might not be much because you're just starting. And you're still getting to know each other according to what Temidayo taught you yesterday, because you are still gelling. But as you increase, the team bonding improve, then things improve, and your understanding of the project and your products improve as well. So I will go on and move on to this one. As an hungry person, I would like to eat orange so that I am full. The acceptance criteria for this is stem and peel is not consumed, and you are going to be eating the whole orange. So the assumption is that it's easy to peel, easy peel orange with no bit, white bit. There is no seed in this orange, and you just need to be broken into 8 segments. So based on that, can people start estimating, please? Put it in the chat. I think a lot of people participated more in the chat. Let's have it in the chat, please.
Sorry, I apologize. Because I'm on the train, it went off, so I didn't know what that was.
This is even more interesting. Some people are giving it different numbers. Oh, this is nice. So we have, there is no 4. The person that gave me 4, can you give me another number, please? Umi. So Bola, you went for 8. Can you tell me why you went for 8, please?
So I was comparing it to when you were eating the 2 grapes that one needs to be washed, one doesn't. I think this peeling of the orange is a little bit more complex to that one. That's why I put
Awesome.
8.
Thank you. Thank you. Gani, you put 3.
Yes, I did.
Why?
If you can put back the acceptance criteria again, I can explain by looking at it.
Okay.
On top of my head, the orange needs to be consumed, and the white, I can't really see it. The white bait. The white bait is I can't see your
no white bit. There's
no white bait. So I need to peel it. So it's easy. Once I peel it, I can just divide it into 8 segments, and it's easy for me to eat.
Awesome.
It's not that hard to do.
Awesome. Thank you. So I need to go back. Thank you for that. We still need to come to a consensus because people are giving different numbers. So the team, let's see. Oh, gosh, I need to go back to the team. So we're giving different numbers. A lot of people chose 5, and a lot of people chose 3. So what should we choose, 5 or 4 or 3? So we need to discuss it.
Well, for me, based on experience, I've eaten orange several times and I have peeled orange several times. I'm talking like an experienced developer now. I've done it before, and now it won't take me more than 3 points to do it again.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, so my own difference here, or let me not use the word difference, is 1, comparing this to the grape, yeah? The grape you just wash and eat. The orange you have to peel and take out the stem, which is 1 step more. And then the only thing that will give you less effort, that will leave it at 5, is because it's already segmented. It's got no seeds, and there's one more thing, I can't really see the screen. But based on the fact that I have to I have to peel the orange, I need more effort to peel that orange before eating it and then taking out the stem. So that's why I give it a 5.
And
Great,
also
thank
the
you.
taste. You can talk about the taste. Is it gonna be sweet? Is it gonna
It's
be sour?
yeah. And then it's bigger in size as well. For me to eat, it's bigger size. It will take me more effort to finish an orange compared to me just popping a grape in my mouth. So it will take me more time to eat, take me more time to peel and all that.
And then on the other hand, if you look at the grape that is not washed, it will take you time to eat that one that's not washed because you'll be analyzing. And while you're analyzing, oh, if I eat this grape, what will happen to me? Time is ticking at that time. So choosing going for 3 for the orange and then going for 3 for the, for the grape, it won't take you more effort to eat it, but the time you put in to try and analyze what you have there that you don't know if this grape is going to hurt you when you eat it. So that time wasted compared to this orange, I would say
So,
3 is good.
so
Okay,
I
but
will advise that you focus on this orange alone. Don't look at any other thing. Just look at the orange and the complexity involved in this orange alone. So based on that, I'm listening. Somebody is raising up their hand. Sorry, I can't see you. Just Taiwo. Is it Bomi Taiwo? Bomi Taiwo.
Yes, good evening. Sorry, I don't know if you can, I want to try and see the thing again, the orange thing again. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, basically, I actually chose no seed because I feel like the fact that the orange doesn't have any seed, what makes the risk lower, because if we're able to cut it into 8 segments, peel the skin, and it has seeds, the major risk in this thing is the seed, because if someone mistakenly chew the seed, like swallow the seed, it can actually give them like some health challenges. And on a normal note, not everybody would like to peel their oranges into 8 segments. So that one is not really, to me, it's not very relevant because you can choose to put it in segment you want. So I feel like having no seeds, if it has seeds, it's going to make it very risky. So taking out no seed has made the risk of this assessment very low. That's just what I can think in my brain.
Oh, interesting. You brought
And
it
I'm
from a
going for
different
3.
perspective.
And I'm going for 3 as well, because if you look at, say, for instance, as the other guy spoke as an experienced developer, I'm looking at myself now as an experienced orange eater, something like that. I don't peel my oranges because I don't know how to use that knife to cut orange. I normally cut myself. So what I do is just to segment it into 4 parts, and I'll eat from inside and throw away the peel. So I can approach it from that angle as well. And if I'm talking to my team, I can say, this is how I used to normally do it. So, and then we'll be able to see who does it the other way. My wife, for instance, cannot eat the orange with the peel. With the peel around it, because she says she reacts to the peel on her lips. So, but I eat directly from the peel and then just throw away the peel. So it depends on how you want to look at the complexity. So from my point of view, I'm looking at it from the way I used to do it, that is convenient to me. And I've been doing it. I've had no problem, no challenges with it. So I'm going for 3.
Thank you for that. But I don't want you to forget something, because you are looking at the acceptance criteria. That could be what the business wants. You have to take that into consideration, because it increase or reduce the complexity, because your customer wants what they want is very, very important. So don't discard what your customer wants. It might be like, oh, I'm used to doing it. You have created a similar, I'm a developer, I've created a similar features for someone, but their need might be different from my need, because I might want a bigger dashboard. I might want you to integrate more features into my dashboard than they had in their dashboard. That's why I said you can have a relative estimation, but it might not necessarily be the same. You understand? You might think that, okay, something similar products have been built, but they might not be the same. So you need to take into cognizance acceptance criteria. Look at what your customer wants and build that into specification for your customer. So don't discard your customer specification. It's quite important. You understand? I just want to point that one out. So
Yeah,
what we,
excellent.
because, okay, because in user stories, when estimating as a Scrum Master, we need to come to a consensus. So should we take 5 or 3? Based on the arguments we've had. So you need to actually
can I
have
ask
that
a
discussion with
question?
your team.
Yeah, we can go
Yes,
for
please
5.
go ahead.
Can I ask a question? Is there a way you can make a suggestion to say, instead of making it into a segment, why not make it into an orange juice? You know, just to make it more appealing.
Okay. Yeah, we can say that. We can say that by negotiating the features with the product owner. So that's where the negotiation comes in. You understand? That's how you will now start negotiating with the product owner. So that's what the beauty of the Agile. You can actually negotiate the features. You can say, okay, instead of us breaking it into 8, why don't we break it into 4? And he might be able to tell you that, oh no, breaking into 8 is best, or maybe we can even reduce it to 6. You understand? So that's the beauty of Agile. And that's where that conversation always comes in. And we improve, we continue to communicate, and we build that product, we improve on that product by communicating with each other. You understand? So what number do we need to choose? Because during your estimation as a Scrum Master, you need to be able to estimate
I'll
after
go
your
for
discussion.
3.
And
Although
don't let it be
5,
lengthy.
I'll go for 3.
Okay, does everybody agree? You need to have buy-in of everybody as well, so that they will all agree that, okay, we put 3 as estimate, as our estimate. Does everybody agree?
Lola, can I ask you, please? In a situation where the development team, that is the QA and the developer, they cannot agree on choosing one, let's use number or effort or estimation, what happens? Because I've always thought about it, most times the Scrum Master will be able to convince us to choose a number, but in a case where we all differ and we cannot come to one, what happens in that? How do you handle it as a Scrum Master, really?
As a Scrum Master, some people take the bigger number. Yeah, but it's not always the best.
Is this
it's
like
always good
enforcing
for
it
them
on
to
the
come
team?
to a consensus. Sorry?
Is this like you just have to make a decision, or you still have to take the team along to make that decision?
It shouldn't take long. Yeah, you have to make a decision. If they cannot make a decision, you can just say, okay, does everybody agree to 8? If it's more, if it's a complex one and everybody's going for higher number, but if there are more 3 than even 8, if it's, then you can say, okay, let's just come to the mid level and just go to maybe 5 or something like that. Maybe somebody chose 13, another person chose 21. You can say, okay, what do we need to look at here? Why do you choose that? Can we, if it's too high, why do you say that? Maybe it's the developer that is choosing 21. You can say, okay, based on your experience, maybe what do we need to put into consideration? So as people have been saying now, we've been saying different things. So based on your experience, you might have different things to say. As a developer, you might have different things that you built before and it's similar to that. You might be able to say, okay, it won't take me long. And we might take your opinion as a developer into consideration and say, okay, the developer has already said it will take her 3 story points for her to finish it. So let's go with the developer. But also, don't forget the tester, because the tester still need to test the application. If the tester is saying that, okay, it's going to take them 5 story points, we still need to take that into consideration. Okay, there is no 7.
All right, thank you.
Always remember 1 plus 1, 2, 1 plus 2, 3, 2 plus 3, 5 plus 3, 8. So there's no 7. There is no 7 Fibonacci. I will send it so that everybody will remember that number when you are doing your estimation, so that when your team say 5, you know what they made. If they say mention 6, you tell them there's no 6 in Fibonacci series. So always don't forget the numbers. So we're going to go with 5, as everybody said. Did everybody agree to 5? Then we move on to this one. So as an hungry person, I would like to eat so that I'm full. The acceptance criteria is stem, peel is consumed. So you're going to be consuming the stem now and the peel. And the whole orange is eaten. The assumption is that easy peel orange with no white bits and lot of seed, 16 segments. You have to break into 16 segments this time around. So you need to take into consideration the risk, the complexity, the effort. What are the things that we don't even know is going to be done here? So please give me a number in the chat. Okay. There's no 7, 8. I can see 8, 5. Normally, when you are doing this one, you can have some people. We should have what they call it, voting, a place whereby you vote, so that everybody will not see what the other person put there, and then you reveal it immediately. But because it's not possible this time around, that's why we are using the chat. Otherwise, we created a voting. They call it poker planning board. So that would help us to be able to do it. But I tried it and it was asking me for a lot of things. You guys need to register and all that. So I just don't want to bother myself with that. So, okay, this is interesting. A lot of people are giving me 8 and one person is giving me 13. So, Gani, why are you giving me 13?
Because there's a lot of effort that needs to go through this. I have to peel it, there's a lot of seeds, and I have to consume the whole orange. So it's going to take more effort to do that.
Awesome. Thank you. And many people gave me 8. Carl, why do you give me 8?
I gave you 8, but just hearing the last person, I think I might change it to 13 because of the complexity. There's different 16 segments. There's loads of seeds due to the complexity and effort that it will take. So I think 8 or 13 is probably right.
Awesome. So you see, he's changing his mind now because he's looking at it from another point of view, which he has not actually considered before. So that is looking at it from a different perspective. And that's why that conversation is actually good in Agile and help us to build a better products. So I'm going to go to Jermaine. You gave me 8.
Yeah, I've gone with 8, just due to more complexities with the seeds and 16 segments. But I think 8 will be sufficient to complete that, considering obviously you still got to peel it and everything.
Awesome. Thank you. And Olu, you gave me 13.
Yes, so going back to what Gani said, there's like 16 segments in the orange, and there's loads of seeds, and you don't know how many seeds are going to be in the orange in the first place. And yeah, that's my reason for choosing 13.
Awesome, thank you. Yaki.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, no, I chose 5 at first, just based on the fact that you don't actually have to peel it, because it says you can eat the peel and the stem. So I chose 5 first. But then after listening to someone else saying, okay, but it's 16 segments and you have to eat the whole entire orange. So that's when I said, okay, cool. In that case, it does make sense because that might take a little bit more time.
Interesting. Different you're looking at it from different perspective. 8.
Yeah, I'm in that position as well. I chose 8 because you require more effort and you have to have 16 segments of it. So it will require more effort and it had loads of seeds. So that's why I chose 8. It requires more effort compared to the other project we did that had, I think it was divided into 8 segments. So I won't say it required ×2 of that effort, but I think 8 is fine.
Awesome, thank you. So you see that sometimes you might choose a number and you start having that conversation and you change your mind and you say, okay, it will require more effort, so I'm going to change my mind and give it another number. So, but we're looking at it like a lot of people chose 8. And the people that chose 13, we like to consider 8, or the people that chose 13, we like to consider 8. And people that chose 13, we like to consider vice versa. So can we come to a consensus here? Do we want to take 8 or 13?
13.
13.
I remember saying more, maybe better, so I'll go with 13.
Okay. Anyone else? Does everybody agree to 13? Okay, awesome. So you see, that is how you generate that conversation and you come to a consensus. So everybody now agree that we should take 13. So we're going to take 13 forward and we put it as our estimation. And that is the beauty of Agile, ladies and gentlemen. That is the beauty of Agile. And downloading this is just a meme. When the estimated time need estimated time to estimate time, because the thing is that we are always needing time, even to estimate time to do the estimation. And you can think that it's going to take you 2 minutes 45 seconds. It's not taking you 4 hours. It's taking 12 years. Then back to 2 weeks, and it's done. So that is Agile for you. And that's the end of my presentation. Any question? Any question?
Yes, hi. Thank you very much, Omolola. My question is, you know, the Fibonacci sequence, where you add that 1 + 1 = 2, 2 + 3 = 5. So when we're saying 1, so let's say 1 is, okay, I'm washing the orange. And then with the other, the next step is, okay, I'm peeling the orange. So that's 1 + 1. And then you have 2. Let's say 2 is, I'm taking out, or I'm cutting it into segments. Is that how it goes?
No. Yes and no. It depends on the project. That's not how it goes. You look at the whole thing. You take into consideration everything that you need to do. So that's why I say yes and no, because you are breaking it down. You're looking at it that, okay, if I have to do this one, it will take me 1 minute and 1 story point. If I have to do the other one, it might take me another story point. So you are looking at it by breaking it down. But it's always good to look at the whole thing that you need to do. So you're looking at the complexity of it, which is good. And that is why I said it's good. Yes. Because you are looking at the complexity, the risk involved, and every effort that it will take you to actually complete that. But we don't usually add it together like 1 + 1, 2 + 3. But it's good that you are looking at it from the complexity of how complex the task is and what effort you need to put into it to be able to get it done.
Okay.
Does that answer your
Okay,
question?
thank you. Yeah, thank you.
I have a
Welcome.
question, Omolola. So My question is this, like, if the PO approves the user story, the BAs and the rest of the dev team approve the user story as well. But you as a Scrum Master, you can see that that story is not viable and it's not going to add any value at the end of the day. Literally, it might be testable, but it's just like a waste of time. How do you go about, if you have like a very, very difficult PO, what do you do in a situation like that, really? How do you handle that situation?
As a Scrum Master, and I have a PO that is putting story that is not valuable into the sprint, and we need to consider what is our product sprint, what's our overall product goal. You understand? If you look at your overall product goal, then your sprint goal. That's why it's always good for you to determine your sprint goal. So if you have a sprint goal, when you are creating your sprint, what is the acceptance criteria? What is the definition of done for this story? That's why you always have to define it. You need to define what your definition of done will be for each sprint. If you don't have that, you might just be working in vain. You might just say, okay, you want to create login, and the login features must work. So if you all look at it that, okay, this feature that the product owner is putting, does it meet our definition of done? Is it going to create value? What is the sprint goal we set for this sprint? What is our overall product goal, which you have already created? You know, as a Scrum Master, you might need to have your release plan. So in sprint 1, this is what we want to create. Sprint 2, this is what we want to create. Sprint 3, we integrate. Sprint 1, we create the login. Sprint 2, we create Sprint 1, we create the registration page. Sprint 2, we create the login. Sprint 3, we create the dashboard. Then we integrate every time you're integrating it together, but we release it so that user can start using it. That is in our release plan for the next 3 sprints. So you already have that. So there's no, when a product owner is not putting things that is not part of your sprint goal, you just have to have that conversation. You understand? And say, okay, let's look at our sprint goal, our product goal, which we have done at the beginning. Where does this one comes into our product goal or our sprint goal? How we generate value to the customer? How we generate value to the business? You just need to have that conversation. And maybe that conversation will help the product owner to actually make a decision, because they might not be very experienced.
Thank you, Lola. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. Any other question?
Hi, Lola.
Hi.
Yeah. You know the project plan?
Yes.
In the project plan that you showed us, who is responsible for, the cost? Is it the cost of that's the planned something?
Okay.
Yeah.
In my team, I'm not responsible, and I'm always glad I'm not responsible.
Okay.
We have the overall product manager that manages that. So a lot of times, Scrum Master are not responsible for the project plan.
Okay.
You might, in my team, we have something they call impact triage meeting. Triage meeting means that when our business, I work in a consultancy firm. So when the business is bringing a new work for us to work on, the team will come together and say, okay, this is the work that they are bringing in. How many developers do we need for this work? How many business analysts? How many people do we need to complete this work? Based on that, we now give an overall estimate to the business and say, okay, this is what we need, the resources that we're going to need. So they are paying for our resource time. You understand? and we do the estimation for that, and we give them that. But a lot of times it's not even the Scrum Master. The Scrum Master can be involved in making that decision, bringing the team together, having that conversation about the new product that is coming in, what is going to, who are the people that will be involved. But a lot of times you might not be the developer that will go back to the business and tell them this is what we're going to take. But in some team, maybe it's a small organization, you as a Scrum Master might need to be doing that. But it's also always going to be the team's conversation. The team has to actually come together to be able to have that discussion. Because if you're looking at project plan, even this one, you cannot create it yourself. You need the input of the business analyst, the product manager, the PM, the BA. You need to know how long it's going to take them to be able to create their workshop. You need to know how long it's going to take them to create their user stories. For the developer, you need to know how long it's going to take them to be able to develop a product. Or even for designer, how long will it take them to create the wireframe or the prototype? So you need everybody's effort to be able to carry out a project successfully, or even create a project plan.
Okay, thank you very much.
But in Agile, we don't do this one. Don't be scared. We don't do this one. This is a waterfall. You understand?
Yeah.
But some people still do it.
Project
Say she
manager.
use it, to be honest. It's project manager. If you're a project manager, especially if you work in the ministry and all those things, they still do use this.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, they still use it. Any other question? Okay, the access of any question,
sorry,
I give you.
Sorry, Lola.
Okay.
Where does this go on the board, on the Azure board? Oh, you said this is for waterfall.
Yes, this is waterfall. Your user story go on your Azure board.
Yeah.
But you can create your release plan. Unfortunately, I didn't bring a release plan. Maybe I should have done that.
Yeah.
Let me see whether I have a dash. Let me see. Okay, look at my. Can you see my?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so this is a roadmap which I created. With this one now, you can see this is what we're going to be doing: stream 1 to 4, registration, dashboard, whatever, mentor availability. This is what we said we want to create in the next one too. I'm going to reduce this one because it's just too much for us to, just too little for us to do within a sprint, 4 sprint. So I'm going to change this one, but I'm just giving you an example that you might say this is sprint 1 to 4. These are the things we need to create, and we're going to have a release. So this is like release 1, release 2, release 3, release 4. You understand? And release 4 might be that we finish the project, we roll out the whole thing, and we're done. And as we completing each sprint, we completing each of those features, we are rolling it out. It's going to live environment. You understand? Because we are having a release. And when we finish sprint 1 to 4, we start sprint 4 to 8. Then we have another release, and we integrate what we have in sprint 1 to 4 into sprint 4 to 8. I beg your pardon. What we have in sprint 1 to 4, we integrate it with sprint 4 to 8, or vice versa, whichever one. But they must all work together. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
You understand?
So on our Azure board, where does this go on the dashboard, and under like which widget, or where does this go? Is it so when is this happens during sprint planning?
And no,
I guess
no, what happened is that you as your product manager, your product owner must have told you that, okay, these are the things that I want for you to do, which are the product's mandates. And you will now as a team say, okay, what are the features that we need to create? Will you break down your features? You understand? You break down the features of what you need to do, you break it down, and then you now say, okay, sprint 1, What are the things that we are doing in sprint 1, sprint 2, what are we going to do? So you look at your minimum viable product. That's what they call minimum viable products. What are the things that we need to do now that we create value to customer and we can go live? You understand? We can release the product live. It doesn't have to be everything. You can just create the registration, dashboard, mental availability, and we go live. And that generate value. People can start using that. You understand?
Okay.
Then we
Okay,
now
yeah.
go to that. Okay, we build upon it and we create the next one. We create the next one.
So are
Do
these
you
the
understand?
tasks? So yeah. So are these the tasks in the sprint planning?
So this one that I have
created?
here.
Yeah.
No, they are not tasks. So these are still things that
User
you need to
stories.
break down. They can be an epic. They can be your
epic,
features.
yeah, that we break down.
You can be your features that you still need to break down further. But these are the things. So these are the epic. It can be an epic. It could be a feature.
Down.
Depends
Okay.
on your
All
team.
right.
So
Yeah,
and you can still need to break this one down further. You understand? Maybe you break it down to user story, acceptance criteria, and things like that, and break it down further and further. So it doesn't mean that you have this one as a story. You might have it as a story, but what if it's too big? You might still need to break it down further.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other question?
Yes, sorry, before we move further, there's something I want to ask. Not that I don't know you, but I'm not so sure. When we talk about sprint 1 is for 2 weeks, isn't it?
It depends on your team and how long you want your sprint to be. It could be 1 week, it could be 2 weeks, it could be 3 weeks, it could be 4 weeks, but maximum of 4 weeks. That's what Agile Scrum.org prescribe.
For sprint 1.
No, it could be your sprints. It doesn't necessarily mean your sprint 1 could be for Blue Sky, it's 2 weeks.
Okay.
But I'm just saying that generally your sprint could be as long as 4 weeks.
Okay, all right.
Or it could be as short as 1 week.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other question?
Sorry, my question is, when you talk about release, do you mean iterations?
Iteration and sprint are the same.
Okay.
So some people call it iteration, some people call it sprint, but your release could be like, you can be releasing every month if you want to release every month. That every sprint we have our release. But a lot of team want to put it together like maybe every 3 months, some will say every 4 months, every 4 sprints. So what you do is that your increment, your product increment that you finish, the first sprint you finish and your product is working. The second sprint, you had it to integrate what you have in first sprint to the second sprint is working together. Then the third sprint, you integrate the increment of the third sprint to the increment of first and second sprint, and it's working together, then we release. So you are having that increment, but make sure your increments work. And in each sprint is go live. It might not necessarily go live, but you have it in production environment, or maybe you have it in UAT. You understand? So it is there and it's working. You understand? Some people call it developer environment. It will just be there and it's working. Then when you are ready to roll it, you roll it into production and you take it to life.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other question?
The user story is written by PO, isn't it? But Scrum Masters can write as well.
It's always good for you, Scrum Master, to learn how to write user stories.
Okay.
But Scrum Master don't write user stories, except you don't have a BA, you don't have a PO. But it's not the work of a Scrum Master. But it's good for them to learn how to write it, because then they will be able to know when a good user story is being written. And there might be instances when there will be contingency where they will be pushed to write a user story because there's nobody else to write a user story. It's just good for you to have that knowledge, but it's not your work. Any other question? All right, in the absence of any other question, I give you 9 minutes back. 9 minutes of your life back. That's really good. Okay, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate your presence today. And goodbye. See you.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Lola.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Lola.
so
Thank
much.
you.
Bye.
Thank
you.
That was very
Bye.
that was very interactive. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome. Welcome.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Mm-hmm.